For this course, we don't need lots of tools, but to make life easier and smoother, I strongly recommend that you use an up-to-date virtual machine running Kali Linux. And also, just a heads up that course support is only available if you're using this setup. Now, it doesn't cost anything, it's completely free, and there is a full guide to setting up Kali Linux on a virtual machine here. And this link is also available in the course notes, so feel free to go and check it out if you don't already have a machine up and running. Once you're set up, we have a couple of things to run through, so pause the video now, get everything installed, and then come back and hit play once you're done. Alright, welcome back. Let's get logged into our Kali machine. So I'm just going to log in with the default credentials, Kali and Kali. And here we are at the desktop. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we have Burp Suite up and running. So if you either hit the Start menu item here, or you can just hit the activation key, which for me is the Windows key, and just search for Burp Suite or just Burp, and you should see that you have Burp Suite. And I also have Burp Suite Professional installed. Don't worry about that for now. We'll take a little bit of a look at this later on in the course, but for the most part, probably 95% of the course, we'll just be using standard Burp Suite. And you can just click on this. And you might get an error saying, hey, some packages are out of date or something like this. Just be like, okay, no problem. Don't show me again. And also, if it does pop up and say, hey, you need to update, I do recommend that you update, as we'll be using some of the more recent tools in things like the race condition labs. We'll need to be able to send concurrent HTTP requests or multiple HTTP requests over a single TCP connection. So when this comes up, we can just do temporary project in memory and click next, and then just click start burp, and we'll give it a minute to spin up. Now, once it's up, you'll notice that mine might look a little bit different to yours, and I'm going to show you how to switch on dark mode, so don't worry. If we come over to settings, and we come over to user interface and display, you can switch between light mode and dark mode. Use whichever mode you prefer. And for the videos, I've upped the font slightly, and also if you come to Inspector and Message Editor and come down to HTTP Message Display, I always find that this is a little bit small for me, so feel free to come in and update this as well, and that makes the text a little bit bigger. Otherwise, we don't need to worry about the settings, and we can just close this. Now, what we want to do is make sure that we can intercept traffic, and what I'd like you to do is come over to Proxy, and you'll probably automatically be on Intercept, and you can see this button here that says Open Browser. So go ahead and open this browser. And all we're going to do is go to google.com or any website you like, and then come back to Burp Suite, HTTP history, and make sure that you can see traffic in here. So this is the important thing. We want to make sure that we have traffic flowing through Burp Suite. Now, if for any reason your web browser isn't working, we can just route our Firefox traffic to Burp Suite. Now, there's a couple of different ways to do this. You can, of course, use a plugin like Foxy Proxy, and you can set that up. There are lots and lots of guides on how to do this, so feel free to go ahead and do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come into settings and then come down to network settings and then manual proxy configuration, localhost 8080, and I also want to use this for HTTPS traffic as well. Now, when we come to Google, we're going to get a certificate error, and we see that software is preventing Firefox from safely connecting to this site. So we need to install the certificate. So if I come to HTTPS and burp, advanced, accept the risk and continue, we get this page here. And all I want to do is click CA certificate, and so it downloads the certificate. Then we come back into the settings, privacy and security, and then come down to certificates, view certificates, and then imports, and cacert.dir, the certificate that we just downloaded. And we want to check trust this to identify websites. And this will enable Burp Suite to be able to intercept and decrypt our traffic without throwing any warnings. So if we come back to Google, we see that we don't get any errors. And if we come back to Burp Suite, we can see that we do indeed have some traffic. So let's clear this once again. And there are a couple of things that I'd like to show you now that we're up and running. First, if we come to intercept and turn intercept on, when we come to here and hit enter, you can see that Burp Suite pops up and we can see a GET request to google.com. Now we can come in and modify this request. For example, if I want to modify the body here in this GET request, we can send that, and then either I can forward this and that will just forward the single request, or if I turn intercept off, it will forward it and any other queued messages that might be also waiting to fly. And we can see this in our HTTP history over here. So when I click on this request, you can see that it's edited because it has this little check here. And this is the original request. And if we click here, we can see our edited request. And if we want to send this a bunch of different times, I can press Ctrl R or right click and send to repeater. And I can come over here and send this again and see the response, and we get bad request. And if I remove this, I get 200 OK instead. So we can easily manipulate and change and update our requests and start attacking web applications. And of course we can render this, for example, and see the response very easily. All right, that's it for the lab setup. I also recommend that you choose an application to take notes, something like Notion or Obsidian or Notepad++ or GitHub, whatever you want. Wherever you want to keep notes is fine. Just make sure that you can back them up so that you don't lose them all at once if your hard drive fails, and make sure that you have them somewhere easily accessible. I like to keep mine outside of the VM because more often than not, I tend to trash VMs without thinking about it, and then at least my notes are safe. If you have any issues setting up Kali Linux and Burp Suite and intercepting traffic, then once again, you can go to the Discord, go to the course channel and drop in some questions there, and either myself or one of the team will give you a hand. There is one last thing that you'll need before we get started, and that is a Portswigger account. So you can sign up for free, there's nothing to pay. All you need to do is come to portswigger.net and click login, and then just click create account, and you can go in and create an account. Once you're logged in, you'll be able to access the links that we provide on the course to walkthroughs and exercises and things like this. Or if you want to explore the Academy yourself, you can come up to Academy and you can access everything you need from the navigation bar here. Alright, that's it, and I will see you in the next video.